Hello, everybody. My name is Felipe, and this is my final speaking task. The COVID-19 has been topic of many conversations between common and scientific people. This necessity of a vaccine is higher each day, and many companies are trying to give us that possibility. Nevertheless, we have people that make comments that change the opinion of the people based on fringe and questionable information. For example, the website PolyFact reported that there is an article where someone talked about presumed side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine. Taking into account the information in some verifiable and trustworthy investigations, the only part that is true of this story is the name of the COVID vaccines that they mentioned and the scientific information about the disease. For example, it talks about how this pandemic has affected us and the investigations to get a vaccine that are developing many companies. In addition, the false part of the story is that the information and the evidence of the risks about taking the vaccine and the information that the author marked like causes of secondary diseases. According to this, PolyFact claimed that this story can be read like pants on fire, and it's because all the false information it takes like evidence. This news was originally published in a website called Wayback Machine. In my opinion, it's not a trustworthy site because it doesn't have a filter. It just keeps whatever that random organizations or people upload on the internet, and the website interface is open to every people which can upload whatever they want and not checking if it's real information. Some of the purposes of publishing this story may be political purposes. The person who wrote this clearly have a strong belief that the vaccines are bad and this is because may cause some diseases with COVID-19. This person obviously is trying to convince another people to take the same position about the vaccines, which involves psychological issues. This idea may be related to a political position or movement that is not in agreement with the application of the vaccines. And I think this is completely normal to have different positions. The thing that it's not good is that they are trying to persuade people with fake information and evidence. Furthermore, this author is trying to convince to the people about the bad side effects that have the COVID vaccine. By other hand, it persuades people that have access to web and maybe have websites like this for having information. I think that the old people are easier to persuade because they don't have much knowledge about internet and how does it work. If they read this, they are going to think that it's completely true and they are going to believe it. I think that people's motivation for sharing this story is because they are afraid about the vaccines. They don't know too much about it, and when they see news like this one, they can find something that teaches them about the vaccine. Another possible motivation is that it's just because they actually think that the COVID vaccine is bad. It's a bad idea, and they want to spread their beliefs, so they share information to persuade other people to think like them. I guess that if people believe in this information, may happen some things. First, and obvious, they're not going to take the vaccine. If they believe this information, they are going to be still in risk of die for COVID-19. Another point is that the pharmaceutics companies that are making these COVID-19 vaccines may lose some sources making vaccines that are not going to be used. Another possibility is that many people die for COVID-19, which reduces the population in the world and involves an increment on the funerary expense. Finally, I classify this story like disinformation because it talks about the vaccine for COVID-19 and says that it can cause some side effects like other diseases, but this without strong and true evidence. So the basic questionable information about COVID and its implications are true, but it has a false context, doesn't have evidence, and the studies that uses to prove its arguments are out of context, unknowingly and completely refutable with a wide coverage of verifiable information. That's all I have. Thank you so much. Listo.